another lovely day of Pittsburgh still sucks. And if you're from Pittsburgh, I apologize, but that's just how I feel. So, as usual, here we go. We got Pittsburgh traffic. Surprise, surprise, surprise. No surprise, right? Pittsburgh traffic, y'all. It's what we live for, it's what we love. So, already see two accidents already. I'm pretty sure one of them, somebody got hit and kept going because there was a truck or SUV or crossover, whatever it was, um, in the middle of the road. And then up the road was a vehicle that had already been pulled over. So was pulled over or whatever. But it was a mile up the road. So I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe there was a connection there. But that whole side over there, and I'm heading northbound. I'm like actually on 376 east, and I'm about to jump on 279 north into downtown Pittsburgh. Lovely, lovely view. It's actually, believe it or not, I do like this skyline. It's pretty cool. Like, I think it's pretty cool, anyways. So that's what we're doing. That's where we're at. That's where we're heading. We're actually heading to our Wednesday dedicated route, which is Cheswick, PA. And this is the story of a trucker. Trucker! Good old trucker. So I like this route. The company drivers, other drivers, did not like this route. So I was offered to take this route permanently. Somebody said, well, you can have that route dedicated. It's a 3-stop route, and because it's a 3-stop route, it pays more, so I get extra for any stop over 2, and that pay is not, I don't get a percentage taken off of that pay, meaning, so on my rate, I think this route pays like 1,600, which is not bad, y'all, because it's like 346. I want to say 346, maybe 348 miles, and it pays 1,600. That's pretty good, I think, personally. So I had to stabilize that. They got a lot of bounce in there, man. So there we go. It should be pretty stable now. So $1,600 for 348 miles. So if I get a backhaul, if I get any kind of backhaul, y'all, which is usually a couple hundred miles on the backhaul, that's a $2,000 day. That's a pretty good day in trucking. I know people don't make that in a whole week. Now, granted, I had to give up a percentage of that to my company that I'm leased on to, but even if I'm giving up 30% because I get 70% of the load plus, so 1,600, I believe that's all in with fuel surcharge, but I could be wrong there. So let's say I get the 1,600 for this 3-stop route. The extra stop I think is like $60. That gets paid directly to me. I don't have to share that with my company. That's straight in my pocket, so that's cool. And then if I get a backhaul, it's basically a $2,000 day. So Just quick math. I get 70%, so 2,000. Let's say that would be 1,400. 1,400 bucks to my truck. Now I got fuel this morning. I put, I think, 400 or 500 bucks in the fuel tank. So I won't use all of that fuel today. So some of that fuel will go to tomorrow. So even if I did use all that, which I'm not going to, I'll probably use $200 worth of fuel today out of 1,400 that I put in my pocket after the company gets their percentage. That's $1,000 day. Now I'll probably work 12 to 14 hours today. I'll be in my truck for most of the day, but for $1,000, I mean, 14 hours. So let's see, 1,000. Even 20 hours, $1,000 is $50 an hour. So that's more than $50 an hour that I'm making today. Now, let's take worst case scenario, even if I don't get a backhaul because I've had that happen, usually because I've got an appointment or something I got to be back for, so I don't get my backhaul. So I end up just deadheading home, which means I got to eat that cost of the fuel. But worst case scenario, even if I just run this route, 1,600 plus fuel surcharge, plus my stop pay, and then 30% off of that. So we'll just round up and say 1,800 bucks. And quick math, 33% would be $1,200. So even on a bad day, after fuel, I'm still making 800-900 bucks. So that's why when they said, hey, you can make this run your dedicated run for Wednesdays, I'm like, say less. And I get it. When I first started driving truck over 6 years ago, I was petrified of, I don't know what he's doing. You're waiting for an opening. There's not going to be one, bro. You just got to go. I'm not going to slam on the brakes and screw everybody behind me. But, yeah, when I first started driving truck 6 years ago, I was petrified of Pittsburgh. I'm like, no, don't send me there because, look, this is Pittsburgh. You see those houses over there and these mountains, and you got rivers, and you got railroad tracks, and you got low clearances, and not a lot of it is very, very truck friendly. Trust me, I know. So imagine being very new to trucking, and your first week in trucking, they send you to Pittsburgh hauling steel on a flatbed, and you end up on a road you're not supposed to be on. Well, you learn very fast. Please don't send me to Pittsburgh. So that was my mentality for a long time. And then, God bless you. Thank you. I will keep smiling. Likewise. Absolutely. My day's going pretty good. Like I said, this is my dedicated day. So this really, for an owner operator, Monday and Tuesday, you're basically working to cover your expenses. So Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday is where you start putting money in your pocket. And for me, this being a dedicated run for me that pays pretty good. For a 348-mile run, it's like 1,600 plus fuel surcharge plus stop pay. And then if I get a backhaul, that's another $400 or $500. So a $2,000 day, I get 70% of that on my contract with this company. It makes for a pretty good day. So, I'm making $50-some an hour today. It's hard to ruin that, but I'm not going to jinx it. So, definitely blessed. But, man, when I first started driving, I didn't want nothing to do with Pittsburgh, y'all. Now, that's a cool billboard. Dragon that's spitting LED flames. I was petrified of Pittsburgh for a long time. I'm like, do not send me there. I don't want nothing to do with it. And I can remember coming here once, and I turned on a road following GPS. They tell you don't follow GPS. Well, of course I did, being a rookie truck driver. I turned on a road and came up on like a 9-foot clearance on a bridge because there's a lot of those in Pittsburgh. And there was no way to turn around, so I had to stop traffic, back up. I backed up far enough that I turned on this little side street. And thank God there was a concerned citizen and a would-be well-doer that seen me, and he stopped me as I was looking for somewhere to turn around. He pulled up next to me in his car, and he said, "Are you looking for such and such place?" And I was like, "Yeah, how'd you know?" He was like, "Man, this happens all the time." And this guy, he sat there and waited while I turned around in this very small parking lot that I really didn't even have no business turning around in, but I did it and barely got out of there after about 15 minutes of finagling and ended up having to put my trailer up against a telephone pole and use that as leverage to swing my trailer around because I couldn't get out of there because the truck was too big. I was on a road I wasn't supposed to be on. Now, thankfully, this guy said, "Well, follow me. I'll show you how to get there." And it took probably 15 minutes to go around to get to this place that I was a mile away from that I couldn't get to just for the simple fact there was a 9-foot clearance there. But how many people know that some drivers would have tried to go under that, and we see those videos all the time. They get a lot of views, but no thank you. I'd rather have my career, and I'd rather have my truck, and I'd rather not be tearing up public property and infrastructure. But there's a lot of anxiety associated with Pittsburgh, and I don't have that anymore. Now, granted, I have tried to get creative since I started running this route and take a different route and end up having to turn around. But today, that doesn't cause me as much stress because I know I can do it. Yeah, it's going to inconvenience some of the other drivers, and trucks are an inconvenience to cars anyways. We already know that. We see that all the time. I've had cars come flying up around me and tell me I'm number one for no apparent reason other than I was a big truck and they were a smaller car, and that was not very pleasing to them apparently. But I believe that's why people don't want to run this route. Now, for a company driver, I understand it because our company drivers are on salary. They don't want to work a 14-hour day for the same salary that they could run something for 7-8 hours and make the same amount of money. I wouldn't want this run as a company driver either. As an owner operator, it's a good trade-off. I'll work the 14-hour day for that kind of money, and the thing is I'm probably going to work that long of a day anyways, just because that's the nature of the industry. Now, a lot of truckers don't like multiple stop loads, but when it's customer freight, you get to know the customer. So every single one of these customers, as soon as I'm in the dock, I'm getting unloaded. So it's not like I'm sitting in a dock all day long, and it's a preloaded trailer when I leave out. So that saves me time as well. So it's not like a typical 3-stop load when you're dealing with a preloaded, dedicated customer load, customer freight. So for me, I could have a bad week where all the other 4 days I don't make a lot of money. Let's say I pick up a bunch of deadhead miles because I don't get some back hauls, and then the loads going out maybe didn't pay that much, and maybe I had my truck down, which, by the way, it is. I had a leak in the radiator hose. I did a short video on that yesterday. It's in the shop today. The radiator hose is supposed to be there at noon, and they're going to get that fixed. So when we change the radiator out, I don't know if that hose had already been leaking. I hope they didn't make me buy a whole new radiator for a leaky hose. That would just be insane because $1,200 for the radiator and 8 hours of labor at $130 an hour. Man, if I paid $3 grand because of a leaky hose, I would be interested to check that radiator. But they put it on a pressure test and it was leaking supposedly out of the top. Now I didn't see it, but that's what the tech said. What do you do with mechanics? You know, I'm not an idiot. I know basic. I'm mechanically inclined. Like I can change my oil. I can do a tune up. Like I've changed coil packs. I've done stuff like that, but I prefer to drive them. I don't prefer to work on them. And maybe that's not the same for everybody, but generally you're at the mercy of the shop and you just hope that you can trust them, and you kind of put your faith into humanity in a lot of ways when it comes to breakdowns and stuff. But it costs me a lot of money, so to pay $5,600 to get that replaced and then turn around and have a leaky radiator, I was not happy about that. But they're human. Are they a shop? Are they professionals? Absolutely. But they're still human, right? Like, what am I going to do? I can't. So, most people are like, oh, I would be ticked off and I would do this and I would do that. But we got to be professional in all things that we do, including breakdowns and stuff like that's going to happen. So it's how we deal with it that is a reflection of our character, our integrity. And at the end of the day, I've said it before and I'll continue to say it. When you're out here driving, you are your own brand. So I'm representing my company as a brand, and I want to do that in such a way that is respectable and that will continue to build rapport and nourish that relationship, whether or not I plan on being with this company for a long time or not. It doesn't matter because you treat people how you want to be treated. At least I do, and I try to in all cases. Whether or not there's a righteous amount of anger in there or not, because I mean, know that $5,600 is a lot of money to come out of your pocket, but it happens. The thing is with these trucks, it's not if they break down, it's when they break down. But I was glad that those company drivers didn't want this route. And apparently, owner operators weren't too fond of it either because, like I said, I could have 4 other bad days. And because I have this dedicated route on Wednesday that pays pretty good, I'm still going to put money in the bank when I get my settlement. So yeah, I would love to make 3 or 4 grand every week after expenses, but that's not going to happen. That's not realistic. Now, realistically, if I do have a couple bad days, this route right here helps mitigate that. Oh, I'm glad I got some people watching. We're coming up on Fox Sports right here on the left, I believe. Oh, it might be. Don't quote me on that. It might be NBC. Well, you'll see here in a second. But this facility's like off in the cut. It doesn't even really look like a major network television studio and corporation, but it is. And I think what's cool about this, and I found out that I think they do use power only. So they probably contract their freight through a power only carrier, but it's right here on the left. And I mean, it looks like a looks like an institution to me. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it looks like I've been some places like that that I didn't want to be, and that's what it looks like. And I wonder if it used to be at one time. But how cool would it be to haul these trailers for this company because they're doing nationwide footage for very popular sporting events. And there's their trailers. It's got all of their equipment, all their recording equipment in there. And some of them are marked and wrapped pretty good with their logos, but those ones that are there right now are not. And maybe they do all kinds of sports networks because I know I've seen Fox Sports there, and I think I've seen like NBC Sports trailers there as well. But this is I don't know if I would be running on this small of a road. This is one of those routes where if you didn't know it, you would be like, "Holy crap, what did I get myself into?" Because this road does not look truck friendly, but believe it or not, this is the truck route. And you'll see why because we're almost to the customers and this road right here, you see right there it says truck route. And if you go straight, that's no trucks. And if you went past the road that we're going to be turning on here in a minute, you would know that it's a no truck route too. And then right over there, you see a sign that says no tractor trailers, weight limit 10 tons. And that's the road to the left. The road to the front is no trucks. So this place that I'm going today, basically, this is the only way in and out of here. There is no other way in and out of here legally. So trust me, you don't want an overweight ticket. Keep your money in your pocket. Get you a commercial GPS if you have to, or you know, I know it's inconvenient, but open up a map and know how to read a map, or learn how to read a map, or just figure it out. Ask another driver, or ask me because with over 6 years of trucking and a couple years of OTR and even more years of running local and regional and cross towns and city and dedicated and shuttles and yards. I've been a lot of places, so I do happen to know a couple things about a couple things. That's my road. Uh, this guy is so close behind me, I can't even get in here. So that's this road in front of me is no truck route, and the road behind me is a no truck route, and the road to the left you seen there that I pointed out, that was a no truck route. So really, you can't go any other way than the way that I came. Now, why this guy is sitting right in the middle of the road, I'm not quite sure. Like that is definitely the middle of the road. And he took a break there. He's got his curtains closed, y'all. Oh, that's insane, man. He's in the middle of the road. Like you could have turned around and got on the other side of the road where there's parking, but to each his own. I guess that's where he got tired. So he just got tired and said, "This is it. This is where I'm stopping for the night," and that's exactly what he did. they got a truck in here. They're like backwards. They're probably side loading them. This is a weird little funky dog. So I think I can get in there. Yeah, that's one of their company trucks, but my dock's open. I can get in there. Yeah, it is pretty. The Pittsburgh, believe it or not, I think it's one of the better skylines that I've seen. Now, granted, it's not. It doesn't have anything on like Las Vegas or somewhere like that, but it's a pretty skyline. I like it. Man, it's 52 degrees out here, y'all. That's crazy. So this is our customer, and actually, I'm gonna leave you right there for a second because I gotta get their paperwork out. Ooh, they got a big old pack of paperwork. Quite a bit of stuff in there. So he's right in my way. I'm gonna have to swing around. That's all right. I see. I like to do this a little different. Generally, what I do with this place right here is I'll pull right up where he's at, and I'll do a blind side. But I have seen other trucks do it this way, and I'll just circle around and do a sight side. Doesn't matter to me. One way's just as good as the other. Steering wheel. So to me, rather than put all that stress on your equipment, it's just easier to blindside right there. But with him in my way, it's not an option today. Probably most drivers prefer to do this way, actually. I overshot it a little bit there. Easy breezy, pumpkin peasy. Easy breezy, pumpkin peasy. These guys are pretty fast too. Even if you wanted to take a break here, you end up pushing it, which based on where I deliver, I end up having to get a 30-minute break in before I leave my second stop, or else I'll run into a violation because you have to take a 30-minute break within 8 hours or after 8 hours. Basically, you can't work more than 8 hours without a 30-minute break. After 8 hours, you have to take a 30-minute break or you'll have a violation. That's it. We are in there. Fun stuff. And then what I usually do, this is a good opportunity to sit back and do some paperwork. Because, like I said, I don't really have time at this stop for a break, which is good because, listen, like this is my best paying route of the week, my dedicated route, and I'm moving the whole time. So there's no downtime. Like this day flies by, 14 hours goes like that. And what I'll do is I'll jump in my GPS and I'll go ahead and get ready for my next drop. So my next drop is in Irwin, PA, and then Dover, Ohio. And then generally my back haul would be somewhere around there. And already, just since I backed in, they just dropped the dock. So they're getting ready to unload me already. Yeah, they're pretty quick here, which that's awesome. Oops, I passed it right there. So my next stop is only 14 miles away, but let's see, 14 miles. And there's no delay, 37 minutes to go, 21 miles. That's Pittsburgh, y'all. But we'll get a 30-minute break in here. It's cool. And this will give me a chance to get my paperwork caught up. And chance to use the bathroom. Take advantage of your downtime so you don't have to make extra stops. If I'm already sitting here waiting anyways, I might as well do the things that I need to do that I would have had to stop for otherwise. So it's just about efficiency, more or less. How can you function efficiently? While you're sitting here, you have paperwork to do anyways. While you're sitting here, you have to trip plan for the next stop. While you're sitting here, maybe eat your lunch. Maybe you got emails to send out. Maybe you have financial accounting to do. This is a great time to take care of those things that otherwise would take up time someplace else. So this isn't just downtime. Everything you do is a business decision. So rather than absorbing downtime, use it to run efficiently. And that's pretty much what I do, y'all. And I'm convinced that the heat is on in this sleeper, which is making it very hot in this truck. So I'm gonna roll this down, and I hope that I have my inhaler. I don't know if you can hear me breathing, but I'm struggling. It sucks having asthma. It really does. I don't see it either. Oh, gosh, I hope I got it. I need that inhaler. Excuse me. Oh, I don't see my inhaler. That's not good. I don't see it. That's what I hate about being in a different truck, because I don't have my stuff that I have in my other truck. That truck it's like a second home in many ways. I mean, I have everything there. I get to live in that thing. I don't want to live in it, but I could. I could. I don't want to, but I could. Come on, man. Why'd it keep popping out of there? Sorry, talking to my So I keep this for my dash cam. I got two different SD cards that I'll cycle out. That's another thing. I don't have my dash cam in here. Now I do have my Garmin, which is pretty awesome. I'll show you. I like this thing because I can push a button and instantly save videos. So this thing's pretty cool. Check it out. This is a Garmin Diesel 710 OTR, and so it's telling me that it's going to stop recording since I'm looking at the gallery. So earlier coming through there or whenever I'll see something like this right here. So you hear me talking on my live, but this is the accident I passed earlier. Bad accident. I didn't get this on my phone, but the whole front of that semi is gone. Like, I missed it. I'm so mad that I missed it. I mean, it's sad that it happened, but it happened, right? It's not my fault. I'd like to get it on video. That's just it is what it is. But this thing is cool because you link in, like I said, it's a Garmin Diesel 710. This isn't affiliate marketing. I don't get paid for this, but I bought this on Marketplace for about half of what it cost, and it was brand new. So praise God for that. And you link this, you Bluetooth it to your phone, and well, you see right there is the Bluetooth, and you see my phone. You got your everything on there, and it's really cool. You can play music on here. So it's linked to my Amazon Music. And the other cool thing is those videos, because I'm Bluetooth, you download the Garmin app, and I can download those right now to my phone. So what I'll do is, if it'll let me, see if it'll let me. I don't think it's gonna let me, y'all, but basically, if this wasn't on because I'm on there, if that wasn't on there, then I'd be able to hit the save, and that video, after I hit that save button, I would automatically be able to access that on my phone through the app. and I can download it to my phone just as soon as I hit it. So that's pretty cool. And I like it. So that device, just let me check because I don't want to give you bad information. Garmin Diesel 710 OTR, and up until now, I've used Copilot in the past. They raised the price of it, so you get like a month free or something like that. But now it's pretty expensive to use Copilot, which it's a good app. Don't get me wrong, but it's not as good as that right there. And if you got to use your phone, then I mean, it kind of defeats the purpose. You need a GPS that is a separate device so that you have access to your phone because your phone is like one of your number one assets when you're driving truck. I mean, you can't go without a smartphone if you're driving truck in today's economy. You have to have it. It's indispensable. So I would use Google Maps too, but you have to be really careful using Google Maps in a big truck. But I'm going to tell you how much that costs brand new, and I'll tell you what I paid for this one. Garmin Diesel 710 OTR. Let's see on Amazon how much it is for the big display. That's a Garmin Diesel 610. Hang on, that's the wrong one. Right here, $369 for that. It's the same one I have right there. It's a 7-inch. And I got it on Marketplace along with I got that and the headset that I'm using right now, which is a Blue Parrot 450, and this thing is great. Like I know you can tell by the sound quality in my videos. Now sometimes I talk a little too loud because this thing does really good, but the the noise cancellation on this is insane. I can be driving this truck at full RPMs and you won't hear none of it in here. And I'll tell you what I bought that for too. It was brand new. I got really lucky finding these on Marketplace, y'all. But you can do that. You gotta stay on it. You gotta keep an eye out for them. Hang on, I gotta switch profiles because you'll miss them. If something like that comes up for the price that I paid for it, and this, I was surprised it was still there. And the guy delivered it to me. He brought it all the way up from Springfield, Dayton area. Now, granted, I handed him a chunk of cash, but let me see here. Looking for my Marketplace. Right here it is. So I'll tell you what I paid for that. And I'm all about deals. Like I'll wait somebody out. I've lost good stuff on Marketplace just trying to get a few extra bucks off, but that's kind of the risk you take. But I've also gotten some really good deals like that. Those are gone. I was looking at a couple other things I had on there. So this one that I was trying to get, the gentleman wanted like 254, and it was I think it was maybe a Ram McNally, but I ended up getting this for way cheaper. So 369 on Amazon. I got it for 260 cash. I know that's in reverse, but 260 cash for that. And then also with that, I got, let me see. No, that's the wrong one. I apologize, y'all. That's a different one. That's a different one. That's not the one I bought. That one's still available. I got mine for even cheaper than that. And I'm trying to find it. It's probably in the archives. Let me see if it's still in here. Anyways, long story short, is this it? 275. No, that's a different one too. Long story short, I got the headset and the commercial GPS for $250, I believe, which was a steal. I think I got this for 75 and that for 150. That's 369 new. This headset new, I'll tell you. This headset brand new. I think it's this one. Blue Parrot 450 XT noise canceling. I got this for 75 bucks. And I don't know if it's the B4. I think it's that one right there. So 75 bucks right now on Amazon. It's 167. But great, great headset. I mean, you hear the quality and the noise cancellation on it's insane. Money well spent because prior to that, I was using this. Now, granted, I got this for 20 bucks. I mean, it gets the job done. I think I got this on Temu. The very first day I got it, my wife sat on it and broke it. Now I still use it because this is my work phone. So whenever I get calls from the company or brokers or customers, anything work related, I'll get it on here and I'll answer it with this. And I try to keep this connected. Usually, because if I'm not posting live videos, and this is a tip for any content creator out there, or anybody really, are you using YouTube effectively? Because if I'm not posting videos, I'm usually watching videos. So I'm learning stuff about business, I'm learning stuff about entrepreneurship, about trucking, I'm educating myself on current events, I'm learning about the financial markets. I am constantly learning about content creation and basically anything you think of. So when I change my fuel filter, what do? I go to YouTube and then I take that 20-minute video that they made, that other people made, and sometimes they were even longer than that, and I turn that into a 60-second video for you. Because you shouldn't have to watch a 20-minute video to do a 5-minute fuel filter. That's crazy. Like, I'm all for, get your ad revenue or whatever, but like, don't waste people's time. And not just that, like, how do we add value? So, how do I add value, which I think is important? So, one thing I do is I try to bring a value proposition to my channel is how can I share stuff that has either hurt me or helped me in the past so that you can avoid some of those pain points and so that you can also maximize your efficiency, lead a little better life because in 45 years on this earth, almost 45 years in a few weeks, I'll be 45. uh, i I very rarely did I take the easier, softer route. Now I do. I like to educate myself first rather than just throw something at the wall and see what sticks. Bam, just like that, we're unloading. So he'll be bringing my paperwork, and we are on our way to the next spot, which is cool. What's up, man? Appreciate you. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. You too. All right. Bam. Rock and roll. So for some reason, I don't know why, this is my first stop on this 3-stop route. For some reason, they flipped the second and third stop around, but thankfully they're real cool. The second and third stop on this route is only like a pallet apiece. More. Last week I had one pallet for my second stop, and I had barrels of stuff for the third stop. But for some reason on this route they flip them around, and this receiver's really cool about it. They'll pull them off and switch them around for me. That way, all I do is bump the dock, and 5 minutes later, I'm unloaded at the other stop. So let's see how it goes. So the majority of the product So yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. When you find a route that has good customers and they're willing to go the extra mile, so they don't mind helping the driver out. They don't mind taking the extra 5-10 minutes out of their day. You want that to be a dedicated route, you can have it. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I'll take that as a dedicated route because not only does it pay pretty good, it's good customers. So these customers are really beneficial to my operation right now. So my little 30-minute break in here, and I got 2 minutes left. And I got 2 minutes left, and I'll have that break in. So I'll just start creeping towards the exit here. And then I'll be good pretty much for the rest of the day. Because once you get your 30-minute break, you've got another 8 hours before you need another one. So you're only allowed 14 minutes or 14 hours of on duty a day, and that starts as soon as you start driving, as soon as you start your pre-trip, anything like that. It's going to start that 14-hour clock. So if you burn up most of an 8-hour clock before you take your 30-minute break, i.e. anything past 6 hours, you'll have enough clock that you won't need it. All right, and we're back. So we got that 30-minute break in, y'all. Now I got 8 hours. I can drive. We can just hammer down. Just hammer down, y'all. So that's what we're doing, We're just hammer down. I still think it's weird that this guy just chose it. Let me show you. He just chose it up and take, I don't know, taking a 10-hour break. But he had his curtain closed. So that side of the street over there is for parking. Now this spot where he's at right here. This is actually, that's the road. He's just sitting in the middle of the road there. Now maybe he didn't know that. I don't know, but I'm surprised nobody's called anybody because that's a ticket road. He's literally sitting in the middle of the road, and it's a public street, and he's sitting in the middle of the road. That just kind of blows my mind right there. That somebody decided that it was a good idea to just park in the middle of a public street and take a break right there. So we're on our way to our next stop, and we're just cruising along here.
To decide what content complies with our advertiser-friendly guidelines and what doesn't. In other words, what content might get you a yellow dollar sign, which means limited ads, versus a green dollar sign, which means fully monetized. Sometimes these automated systems can make mistakes, which we know can be frustrating. I'm Tim, and in this video, we'll talk about a new program we're testing with some creators called self-certification, where you tell us what videos do and don't comply with our advertiser-friendly guidelines. We then use your input to help decide what ads to run on your videos. The goal is to reduce errors from our automated reviews and help your videos get monetized more accurately from the start. Let's walk through how this works. If you know your content complies with our advertiser-friendly guidelines, then the process is actually pretty simple. Once you've turned monetization on, select none of the above. If you're not familiar with our advertiser-friendly guidelines, click the link in the description. If you know your content doesn't comply with our advertiser-friendly guidelines, then rate your video accordingly. You should see here that your video is going to receive limited ads or a yellow icon. We know it might feel weird to tell us your video isn't suitable for all advertisers, but when you're able to rate your content accurately, it lets us know that we can start to trust your ratings for future uploads and not have you
Yeah, what's up, man?
If you're not sure how to rate your video, upload is unlisted and err on the side of caution by selecting the next option down.
I own it. I got plenty of friends in this.
Once you do that, then request a manual review. That way, our human raters can give you a final decision before it goes out to all your viewers. Once you have confirmation, you can publish your video, or go back and make edits and upload a new version. Also note that when you get that final decision from a human rater, they'll leave some notes as to why that decision was made. That'll help you understand the choice for future content. So what happens if you don't rate your content accurately? If you're unable to identify your content accurately, we default back to using our automated systems. However, do know that repeatedly misrepresenting your content can lead to your channel being reviewed for inclusion in the YouTube Partner Program. But when you rate your content accurately, it lets us know that we can start to trust your ratings for future uploads instead of our automated systems. Well, now that you know what this program is about, I'll share a few extra tips.
Pleasure.
Now YouTube's advertiser-friendly guidelines and examples. You can find more detail in the Help Center article linked in the description below. Enable monetizations regardless of how you rate your video. Why would you do this? Because even if you mark your video mature, there still may be some advertisers out there who are willing to show their ads on it. You can also earn revenue from YouTube Premium and be accurate with your ratings, especially videos that are not advertiser friendly. It's more important for us that you accurately identify brand and safe content yourself, the type of videos that get yellow icons. So, if you're not able to identify yellow icons yourself, we need to keep using our automated systems to do so. We hope this program will help reduce errors with our automated systems and ultimately jump on the Turnpike. If you'd like to learn more about our self-certification program, what else we're doing to add videos with yellow icons,
I don't
check out this video from Creator Insider, and be sure to subscribe to the videos here on the Creator Channel. Thanks for watching.
And let's see, I used it. What is it? I used it twice last month, and it cost me about $60 just for using it twice. And I don't go very far on it, so
That's quite a bit, actually. That is quite a bit. It is definitely quite a bit. So, Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh and trucking is as old as peanut butter and jelly, basically. So, Pittsburgh, and this is pretty common with any urban area or any population dense area. There's going to be a lot of freight that moves out in and out of there. So Pittsburgh has a deep history with the trucking industry, thanks to its location as a transportation hub. You know, the city sits at the crossroads of major highways, including I-79, I-76, which is the turnpike I just told you about, and I-70, making it a key point for freight movement across the Midwest and the East Coast. The region has a strong trucking workforce and is home to major logistics companies, distribution centers, and quite a few trucking schools too. Intermodal transportation is also big in Pittsburgh, with connections to rail and river shipping, making it a sweet spot for freight movements. So intermodal is like, you see, like the shipping containers. Those come by rail, those come by truck, they come by barge. See, I mean, shipping containers, when we think shipping containers, we think of these massive oceanic barges that move hundreds of millions of tons of freight in one movement, one lane. But those intermodal containers, often they'll get pulled off of those massive oceanic barges, and then they'll go onto a rail, or they'll go onto a truck. Eventually, most of those shipping containers get touched by a semi truck. So Pittsburgh is a major hub for that. Major hub. Because they've got all of them. You know, they have the waterways, they have the shipping yards, they have the rail yards. They've got rail yards around here that I couldn't even tell you, probably 16 tracks wide. I mean, just massive, massive rail yards. So they got the infrastructure for it, although if you're new to trucking, you probably wouldn't think that, because you drive through here and you're like, hey, everything's just dropped down in the middle of a valley or on top of a mountain, and the roads are so small, and it's full of like these little plazas and boroughs. There are so many boroughs in Pittsburgh. Like there's never not a time when you're in Pittsburgh that you're not in a borough. You're in some major borough, or you're in some municipality, or you're in some corporation. And believe it or not, all of them are very trucking. You know? And that's something that you just get with time. Like, with time, you'll get more comfortable moving through those freight lanes. And eventually, if you take the same route day after day after day, whether you're using the GPS or not, you're going to get familiar with the routes. You're going to get familiar with the highways, the interstates, the state routes, and you'll know which routes to use because not all the time are the interstates going to be available. What happens if there's a major accident and it shuts the interstate down? Well, it's nice to know your routes because you're not going to be instantly just screwed and end up on a street or a road that you're not supposed to be in and put yourself in a bad situation where you could be facing a heavy fine, for an overweight or commercial vehicle being on a non-CMP route. So there's different municipality laws for that, corporation bylaws, and it could be something as minor as a waivable ticket to it could be a major traffic violation that you have to go to court for, and nobody wants to have to do that, especially if you're out of town or out of state. Or it could be something as simple as a violation that will fall off by itself, and there's really nothing you can do other than go somewhere else, get into a truck-friendly area and on a truck-friendly route. So, the thing is, Pittsburgh is the next trucking battleground. The truth about our roads, robots, and the future of freight. The bridge crisis is Pittsburgh failing its truckers. So it's like every turn, you find a detour. I mean, a lot of these bridges are out of date. They're not up to code, so they're working on them. And ones that they're not working on probably need worked on. Or you turn onto a road like I've done, and it's a state route, and all of a sudden you see a no truck sign. Well, you got a no truck sign to your left, to your immediate front, and to your right, and then what do you do? Where do you go? That's a tough spot to be in. Now you got to figure out how to get turned around in a not so truck friendly area, and a very populous area where you have cars behind you, cars on the right, cars on the left. There's a lot of frustrations with detours, bad roads, aging infrastructure associated with Pittsburgh. And it's left a bad taste in truckers' mouths. That's why this route is available. I mean, people don't want to drive this route. Truckers don't want nothing to do with Pittsburgh. Even seasoned truckers. Now, Pittsburgh is a great hub for truckers, but a lot of drivers don't want to deal with it. So, just ask a logistics manager, ask a seasoned trucker how they feel about Pittsburgh. And I bet they have some pain points to discuss about the loss of time and money from sitting in traffic or getting stuck on a road that they weren't supposed to be on, so now they have a hefty fine or a ticket. Or some truckers, they'll go ahead and try it. They'll come up on a 13.3 clearance and know they got a 13.6 trailer, and then all of a sudden you got tens of thousands of dollars worth of damage. You have the impact to the local traffic and the local infrastructure. And that's a bad look for the companies, bad look for the driver. It goes down as a preventable accident on the records. So, our robot truckers taking over. the truth about Pittsburgh's self-driving revolution, dive into Aurora's autonomous trucking tests happening in the city. They are testing autonomous trucks in Pittsburgh. That's scary. I know everybody's heard of the self-driving vehicles that they put to a halt in California because one of them ran somebody over and killed them. They have autonomous trucks functioning, operating in Pittsburgh. How do you feel about that? Drop it in the comments because I'd love to know. And maybe you feel a certain way because of the humanity aspect from it, that we don't want to risk lives because of computers and technology. Or maybe you're a trucker and you think that autonomous trucks are stealing our jobs, and maybe we're training ourselves and enhancing technology into putting us out of a job. So how do you feel about that? Or do you think autonomous trucking, that these trucks that are ran by technology, now granted, as of right now, they still have operators in them, whether they're driving the vehicle or not, there has to be somebody to run the technology. Do you think the roads would be safer with autonomous trucks? Let me know how you feel about that, because this is a thing in Pittsburgh. And there's also, because of technology, there's a secret war on diesel. Are electric trucks the truck of the future in Pittsburgh? Are they the truck of the future in the United States? Because Pennsylvania has really pushed for lower emissions, and if you've ever been to a truck stop or a rest area in Pennsylvania, you've seen the signs that say no idling for engines over 5 horsepower. That means if you don't have a generator type of setup and basically inverter, the whole setup, right? There's a couple of different brands. You know what I'm talking about. If you don't have a smaller engine, basically you can't idle your truck in Pittsburgh. You can't idle your truck in Pennsylvania because of emissions. And that's why there's such a push to lower emissions. There's a push for electric trucks and stricter regulations. How many people think that we need more regulations in the trucking industry? Now, that's a controversial topic because there are accidents every day where people die. And there are accidents where people die, fatality accidents that involve somebody. Now, statistically, studies have proven that the majority of those accidents are caused by the motoring public and not the professional driver, but that's not always the case. So I'm interested to know where you stand on that. I would love to know. Drop your information in the comments. Reach out to me at JRoTrucker@outlook.com, and let's discuss it. I would love to know your position on it. And Pittsburgh truckers have some of the craziest. Like, if you have not taken the time to introduce yourself to a local Pittsburgh trucker, please do so. It's just ask them what their craziest story is. I bet that it has something to do. I would almost guarantee that it has something to do with tunnels, with bridges, or something of that nature, because of Pittsburgh being what it is, right? Like, how many tunnels are there in Pittsburgh? You got Fort Pitt Tunnel, you got several major tunnels in the Pittsburgh area. And what about St. Hills and mountains and everything else that local drivers have been dealing with for decades that us not so local drivers, regional OTR drivers, just pass through, and we think it's the end of the world if we get sent here, but yet these drivers have been dealing with this for their whole life, right? So they're basically numb to it. They've been seasoned and they've been desensitized to it, so they're just used to it. And that's great. There's a lot to learn there from these drivers that are seasoned and conditioned in these climates. That's great. So, older truckers, local truckers, you can learn a lot from somebody that's been there and done that. And if you're new to trucking, that is some of the best advice you will ever get. Is if you want to know about a particular customer, if you want to know about a particular route, if you want to know about a particular company, if you want to know if local driving is for you, if regional driving is for you, if dedicated driving is for you, if you want to know about lease purchase, lease operator, lease purchase operator, owner operator, independent owner operator, company driver, dedicated, short haul, city, cross towns, or running an Ottawa truck in a yard, you ask another driver. Check out my dash cam footage on the channel. I have a lot of it, and I'm going to be posting today some dash cam footage as well. So make sure that you check that out, and you'll see some raw, uncut footage. I like to share raw, unedited videos. And some people are like, well, those are boring. That's stupid. You just posted a road and a truck and people driving. But guess what? That's authentic. Not a famous TV station or a famous documentary or reality show that dramatizes every single thing. Now, granted, yes, it makes for great television. But you know what else makes for great television? Authenticity. Real life. So how do you feel about Amazon taking over? The fulfillment centers in Pittsburgh have really changed the trucking industry around here. There are warehouses. Last mile trucking is a major thing, and labor challenges. So people that probably would have ventured out to get their CDL, do the training, put the time in, to become a truck driver, now have an opportunity to go work in an Amazon warehouse and make $18 an hour. And that might be pretty appetizing, especially if you don't want to deal with the pain points of Pittsburgh that come with low bridges and old bridges and not so friendly truck routes and traffic and the many other challenges that drivers face every day in the Pittsburgh area. So maybe that Amazon warehouse position is all of a sudden very appetizing. And that's disrupting for motor carriers. Because a lot of motor carriers rely on new drivers. That is their differentiation strategy, is to train drivers, hire new, and get those drivers, in some cases, into a contract that helps offset the cost of that training. And basically, they're saying that we want to invest in you so that you will invest in us, because a company's drivers are their best asset, because if there's nobody to drive that truck and move that freight, then where is the revenue? So that's a major differentiation strategy for a lot of companies. They will assume a lot of the risk of bringing on new talent and invest in training that new talent because they see the value in the person, not necessarily in the experience. Now, looking on LinkedIn, they only hire drivers with over 2 years of experience. In some instances, you might get in with a year of verifiable experience if you have a good recommendation, or maybe those clout, because isn't that what business is all about? Word of mouth and reputation and integrity. And does your work speak for itself? So possibly you could land into a company that only accepts drivers with 2 years experience, with only a year of experience if you have a very clean driver. If you already know somebody that drives for that company, they put in good work for you, and you list them as a referral. If you don't have any violations, if you have similar experience, meaning if you're applying for a dry van position with a company that requires 2 years experience, you have a year of dry van only experience, that is an extenuating circumstance that would mitigate any risk to the company. So that's what we're talking about, and coming to new driver and so it's in Pittsburgh. Now, so I'm interested because I've been strongly considering creating some videos on how to drive a semi truck. So I believe what I'm going to do is content free for anybody to use. The only course or education you will, if you're interested in let me know, drop a comment below, and or also hit me up on JRoTrucker@apple.com. Send me an email, and I will get you put onto an email list, and from that, get you a product launches. You will be the first to get it, whether the first to get it. And whether you make the decision to jump into trucking, period, there will be value in that introduction, being able to watch those training videos, because it'll help you with the decision. So remember I said a few minutes ago about if you want to know about a route, if you want to know about a company, if you want to know about a customer, if you want to know about a position within your trucking industry, who to talk to, about the driver. Well, if you want to know if it's worth it to change careers at this stage of your life, right? And maybe you're thinking about starting your trucking company, maybe you're ready. You want to know if that's whether you're an owner operator, lease operator, lease purchase operator, individual owner operator, there's value in sharing our experiences with one another, and there's value in what trucking. I'm curious. Maybe you will have some value that I can talk in comments below. Maybe you have some information about what we is bringing value to networking. People helping people. That's what I'm doing. So listen, I appreciate y'all tuning in today, and pray you have a blessed day. And just in case you're struggling today, I want to pray some gracious Heavenly Father. I today we ask you for our lives, and everybody in the seven life is already, please give them a touch from you, Father God, that they will be able to overcome their difficult circumstances, or maybe just give you praise today. Maybe everything's good, everything's going okay, and just want to maintain this. We want to do that with humility and gratitude, because we know in all things God, and we have some time, faith, and anybody out there who doesn't know you, I just pray that you open up your heart and eyes, and if they wanted to know you, Father God, Jesus, as in this prayer, we believe it in your heart, and Father God, I admit that I'm a sinner, and I need Jesus in my life, and I believe Jesus Christ is who He said He is, and I just receive Him today, Father God, in Jesus' name, my personal Lord and Savior, this day, Lord, I repent, and I confess my sins, to the best of my ability, in Jesus' my precious name, I pray all things. God bless you. I'm believing that this is going to reach the people that it needs to reach, and that they're going to say that prayer, and they will be saved. And hallelujah, praise God. That's a beautiful thing. The Bible tells us that all of heaven rejoices if this one person comes to know the Father. And I'm believing that we can get several people to come to know God today. And if you know somebody's struggling, reach out, show them some love, hug somebody's neck, and maybe invite them to church next time you see them. Maybe you're going to be that 67th book of the Bible that will bring them to God, and maybe that'll be what turns their life around, because somebody was asking you, somebody was asking me, and trying to do that for others. That is the ultimate purpose of life. So, I hope you got some value out of this. I'm praying for you as always. If nobody's told you today, I love you.